It's gone 50 years since Chicago released their 7th studio album, so today we are indeed celebrating Chicago VIII. Hey, and welcome to Acting is Reacting with me, JSB. Today we are back in 1975 once more for another album that came out in March of that year. And yes, I'm aware that in 2025 we're already in April. Time flies, doesn't it? Anyway, as per the intro, most people know Chicago weren't the most imaginative band when it came to their album titles, but some people don't realize that they also assigned numbers to live albums and later compilation albums, so you get to those interesting scenarios where the 7th album is called Chicago 8, and that's the album we're looking at today. So it is, of course, another 50-year flashback. 50-year flashback! Yeah. And it's an album that was the first Chicago album that my mum bought. And now long-term viewers expect me to say, so I've known it all my life and I've loved it all that time, etc., etc. But no, because it was buried in the back of her record collection on account of the fact that she hated it. Later that same year, they came out with Chicago 9, that first greatest hit set, and yeah, she should have gone for that one instead. And in fact, she did. She bought that next and pretended that she never bought Chicago 8 and just hid it at the back of the record stack, and it sat there unloved for many, many years. So I was vaguely aware that it was sitting there, and a few years later, when I was really getting into them, one of the local radio stations started playing Old Days again, which was strange because that was around the time that other channels were playing Look Away and What Kind of Man Would I Be? That's the kind of era we were in for New Chicago. Anyhow, I dug out Chicago 8 and found that Old Days was on it. So I thought, I'm going to give this a spin and see what's so terrible about it. And as it turned out, there was a heck of a lot to like about the rest of the album too, to these ears at least. In fact, to this day, I don't really know exactly what put me mum off it. I mean, she's not alone. There's a fair few people who rate this as one of the weaker Terry Kath era albums. Not me. And while it became their 4th consecutive US #1, it didn't last in the charts anything like as long as most of its predecessors. But I actually like every cut on it, to a smaller or greater degree, and there are some real highs, some of which I hope and vaguely expect for us to hear today. So on that note, I'm going to be using my random foreplay treatment to have a revisit of the album. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you've not been here before, simply I throw an album on shuffle and choose one song in every 2 or 3 that comes up for us to have a listen to and chat about. Clear as mud? Never mind, it all makes sense real soon. So if you can do me a big favour and smash that like button, baby, I will load up the album and get ready to make my first choice. Okay, so there are 10 tunes here, and therefore for my choices I will choose between this or that for the first 2 songs, and then that will leave me with a best of 3 for the last 2 choices. Again, if that doesn't make sense for me just saying it there, watch along as to what I do, and it all will. So, let's dive in. Of the 10 tracks, 4 of these are penned by Robert Lamm, and then there's 2 each from Jimmy Pankow, Peter Cetera, and Terry Kath. So who knows if we'll hear one from each of them or how it will work. But let's have a look and make choice number 1 from Oh, Thank You, Great Spirit, or Old Days. Huh. We've got a stupidly hard choice with our first selection, but I'm going to have to go with the first one of those because it's the epic of the album. It's a Terry Kath tune. It's one of his standouts. I can't skip it. I just can't. Not even for Old Days. Here is Oh Thank You, Great Spirit. And it's a slow build, so be prepared. No horns on this one either, by the way, for those expecting a lot of that. It's a guitar tour de force. Yeah, it's a long song. I should start playing it. Here we go. Terry will be on the vocals as well as acoustic and electric guitars for this one.
still fresh in my mind. Before I'm even awake, the words, the music were complete.
You're surfing.
I woke up that morning, feeling so rested and young. My mind was clear of all the problems that been hassling my head. I couldn't quite understand why I felt so fine. I felt so free, so beyond it all. As I turned towards the bed, then I understood as all came clear.
Starting to build, but it's got a long way to go yet. I love the amount of time that the song has to build and breathe as he tells the story, which is slightly prophetic, unfortunately.
As I turned towards the bed, then I understood as all came clear. I saw myself still lying there,
All right. Oh, thank you, Great Spirit. Thank you, Terry. It's obviously very much a Terry showcase, but some great drum and percussion interplay between Danny Seraphin and new official band member at this point, joining for his first proper album, though he'd guested on the previous couple. And I still don't know how to say his name. Lord de Oliveira is how I'm going to say it. Um, yeah. And yeah, obviously we had some Robert Lamb keys coming in towards the end and some good vamping on the bass from Peter Cetera as well. But being a hornless Chicago tune, it really let Terry show off in a way that he often didn't get the chance to do because he was playing more rhythmically or having to cater to the horns being more prominent. And sometimes he'd play great things that you just don't hear because they're so buried in the mix of these albums. Uh, so you didn't want it on every track, or maybe you did, but sometimes just letting him stretch out like that is bliss. And it's worth not being able to hear Old Days for on this occasion. You can hear Old Days any old time. We won't hear it today because that's how this works. So that was a choice between those two songs. Let's find out what my next two choices are going to be. So we have got Harry Truman, which was actually the first single from the album, reached number 13. Old Days would be the second single and hit number 5. So it's a choice between that or the third single from the album, Brand New Love Affair, Parts 1 and 2. Now, this one was another Jimmy Pankow tune, along with Old Days, and features Terry again on lead vocals on part 1, and then it swaps to Peter Cetera on part 2. I'm telling you all of this because, yes, we're going to hear it, and strangely, it only reached number 61. I don't quite know why that was, but let's give it a listen and see if we can work it out, because this is another great track. Brand New Love Affair, Parts 1 and 2.
Wish I knew what was going wrong. Seems so very long since we laughed together. It's no good to be all alone when you've hurt a friend and you both feel empty. What I'd give to erase the pain. Will we ever make it right? Is it over or shall we try again for a brand new love affair? Seems to me we are both afraid that our love may fade and we just won't make it. Maybe soon we'll be friends again, find ourselves and then really make it happen. What I'd give to erase the pain. Will we ever make that grade?
70 strings making an appearance as well.
Is it over? Shall we try again for a brand new love affair?
And it's pretty much exactly the halfway mark. You're in part 2, and it's all change from that sultry Ray Charles-like opening from Terry. Here comes Peter.
Start all over again and do it up the right way. Come together, my friend, and celebrate the new day.
kind of what I was talking about. Terry playing rhythm underneath the horn section. That's great, but, you know. Whistling probably doesn't pick up so easily on my microphone, so I'll stop that. It's almost as bad as when I sing. Okay, Brand New Love Affair Parts 1 and 2. And, you know, I kind of can hear why that wasn't a smash single, but it's weird. I don't know what version. Oh, no. One side of me or the other, I would have put up a image of the single for that. And I noted that there were two versions of it. One literally just had part 1 as the single, so that first 2 and a bit minutes with Terry singing, and others with a full-length track, 4.5 minutes. I think they're, and I hate to say this because I'm not a fan of single edits, but I think they could have done a really nice edit on this and combined the two properly in about, say, a 3-minute length, and it could have gone over quite well. But they didn't do that, and it didn't happen, and it stalled way down at 61. Anyway, so that was my second choice, which means it possibly gets even harder now because I've got to choose between 3 songs for the next and indeed final 2 choices for today. So let's have a look at what those 3 will be for choice number 3. Okay, we have got Ain't It Blue, which is a Robert Lamm tune but sung by Terry and Peter. Long Time No See, which is a Robert Lamm tune sung by Robert, or Never Been in Love Before, which is a Robert Lamm tune sung by Peter. So we're going to hear a Robert Lamm tune. Who's going to be singing it? It'll be Robert, because this is a song I always thought should have been a single. It's under 3 minutes. They didn't even have to do any edit on it. Yeah, it's kind of got a bit of vitriol in the lyrics as well. So yeah, let's hear Robert singing his own tune. Long Time No See. Oh, I might sing along at times on this. No, I can see you don't want me to. Try and be good. Where you been keeping yourself, my friend? Well, everyone was singing that. Fooling yourself in your special way. Listen out for Walt Parazada on the flute in this little musical interlude. And Terry, obviously. Oh, there he is. Never learn nothing by running away.
What you been doing? Ain't you got no one? Where you been keeping yourself, my friend? Loneliness growing, emptiness showing. Finding your peace 2 or 3 times a day. 3 times a day.
Yeah. Don't you think that would have made a decent single? Certainly wouldn't have done any worse than Brand New Love Affair. It might have been remembered more fondly than Harry Truman. It leaves us with one more choice, and if you know this album, you already know what they are. I already know what they are. I think I know which one I'm going to choose, but let's go through it and do it. So we have Hideaway, written and sung by Peter Cetera, Any Way You Want, written and sung by Peter Cetera, or Till We Meet Again, which is kind of the opposite of what we started with, the big Terry Kath epic. This is a Terry Kath miniature, 2-minute little thing. But I think we should hear a Peter tune just to ensure that we do hear something from everybody, at least on the writing front. And I'm going to go with another hornless song that allows Peter and Terry to rock out. And it also proves that Peter could write a rocker when he wanted to. Yeah, so without further ado, here's our 4th and final tune for the day, Peter Cetera's Hideaway. Also, I believe the B-side of Old Days, I think. And he's killing it again, as always. Peter Cetera can rock. Sample A of that evidence. All right. Hideaway finishing up our random foreplay celebrating 50 years of Chicago VIII. And Ma, if you're watching, what's not to like about any of that? Come on, tell me, tell me. Anyway, I loved all of that. And I hope you did too. I hope you liked my choices, even when I turned down the chance to hear Old Days. I hope it was worth it. Right back at the start with, oh, thank you, Great Spirit. And yeah, some really great Terry Kath work on here. I was about to say everybody knows he's a great guitarist. Obviously, he's a pretty underrated guitarist, but I think he's even more underrated as a vocalist and as a songwriter. Um, Two things that don't get talked about enough when it comes to Terry. And we got to hear all of that across these tracks. And some sterling work from the other members of the band as well. Peter, of course, killing it on the vocals on both that one and his portion of Brand New Love Affair. Uh, Robert's never quite in their league, but he's not far behind either. And as I say, Long Time No See to me is just a classic little 3 minute piece that could have been a hit if it had been given the chance. Do let me know down below your favourites from this album, what you think of it in general, what you thought of my choices for today, and anything else you fancy talking about. All things welcome that are not rude. And if you did enjoy that, and I really hope you did, I've got lots of other Chicago up on the channel, including 2 other albums in a similar format that's been slightly tweaked for this year. So one side of my head, you can check out my full Chicago playlist, and on the other side, there's something else that YouTube thinks you'd like. So I'll just say thanks very much for watching today, and bye for now, but not for long.
Acting is reacting. This does not mean acting again.